forum, we can go ahead and get started.
All right. Well, it is 11:01 and good morning on this beautiful July morning. We don't get a lot of these, but this is a nice one. Roll call is being taken electronically, and I will start with the public forum. Is there anybody on the call in the public who'd like to say anything to the committee? I don't see anybody, and you're not indicating anyone there, so we will move on to item number 3, which is the adoption of the meeting minutes from May 18th, 2026 for the subcommittee. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved, Steve Soplak, Rocky Hill.
Thanks, Steve. Do I have a second?
Second,
Second.
Adam Kessler, Simsbury.
Thank you, Adam. Any comments, questions on the minutes? If not, I'll indicate by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Anybody oppose? Anybody abstain? Please state your name if you abstain.
Devin Copperweight abstain.
Tom Mazzella, abstain.
Frank Del City Hartford abstain.
Great. Well, thank you. Item number 4 on the agenda is the lots of cost increase and scope modification requests for Windsor Locks Downtown SR 159, the Complete Streets Project, Satoria and Stephanie.
Thank you, Patrice. Good morning, everybody. This is a scope modification and a funding increase request from the town of Windsor Locks. And as Patrice said, it's for the downtown State Route 159 Complete Streets project. This is a regionally significant project as it connects the new train station and also bus service to the airport located in Windsor Locks. This project received a commitment to fund letter on June 25th, 2018, and that was in the amount of a little over 3.5 million. After advancing that project through the preliminary design, at that time it was actually the semifinal, but it was considered preliminary design. A funding increase was requested, and this was to 5.3 million. And this was on November 15th, 2021. And this was under the condition that this amount be capped at that level, because at that point in time, our project, the most that we had for a project was around 5.5 million. So that was the reason for that. Following this, though, we had Windsor Locks had multiple administrative changes, and there was a required change to the project scope because of negative feedback, and that was delayed. That really delayed the project advancement. So the town of Windsor Locks new administration and staff are requesting an additional funding increase of 1.2 million. It's about 22% percentage to advance the project, increasing the total project cost to 6.5 million. I'm going to turn it over to Stephanie.
Thank you, Satoria. Although the requested funding increase falls within the established 30% threshold, the town is seeking approval because the project was previously subject to that funding cap that Satoria had mentioned. Although a scope change has been requested, the funding increase is primarily a result of construction cost increases and unit price increases since that 2021 approval. Now, originally, the project included a roundabout at the intersection of Main Street and Chestnut Street. And as Satoria had already mentioned, after extensive public outreach, the town received significant community feedback opposing the roundabout. So the design was revised and replaced with a stop-controlled intersection. While the intersection design changed, the overall purpose of the project has not. The goal continues to be improving safety in the downtown area by reducing vehicle speeds and enhancing pedestrian accommodations. The revised design includes several safety and streetscape improvements, such as raised crosswalks, a landscaped median, a triangular island, upgraded sidewalks, parking enhancements, ornamental lighting, and additional RRFBs in the area. In terms of cost increases, the largest drivers are pavement milling and asphalt work, which accounts for $245,000. Additional drainage improvements and granite curbing, which accounts for $190,000. Ornamental lighting to improve roadway and pedestrian safety, costing about $390,000. And then the additional RRFB installations, which costs approximately $68,000. Together, these items account for about $893,000 of the requested increase. The remaining increase is the result of overall escalation in construction costs, higher unit prices, and adjustments to the percentage-based estimation items. Combined, these factors result in the requested $1.2 million increase, bringing the total estimated project cost to $6.5 million. To allow for a scope modification and to incorporate unit cost escalation that the current administration is confronted with, staff recommends approval of an additional $1,200,000 of LATSIP funding for the Windsor Locks Downtown Complete Streets project, increasing funding from $5,300,000 to $6,500,000.
Thank you, Stephanie and Satoria. Is there anybody from Windsor Locks present who'd like to say anything on the call?
Hi, Patrice, Devin Copperway, Windsor Locks. Thank you.
Hi, Devin.
As always, Satori and Stephanie have done a fantastic job going over the reasons for the cost increase, which doesn't leave me a whole lot to say other than this has been on the books for quite some time now. It's been there since 2018. The town experienced administration change, public works director change, planner changes. So I think it kind of got put on a back burner after the town disagreed with the idea of putting in a roundabout. But since I've been here, we've been trying to progress this along so we can keep going with it and get the project approved. John and Tyler from Fuss and O'Neill are on the call if anybody has any technical questions. Other than that, that's all I got.
Yeah, thank you, Devin. I'm John Sabino, the first selectman from Windsor Locks. Yeah, I mean, this project's been going on for quite a bit now, and that's why we're trying to wrap this up. And I thank you for that presentation, Stephanie and Devin. And Justin, if you're on, if you have anything else you'd like to add to that?
I don't think Justin's on, John.
Oh, okay.
All right, well, that's okay. Is there anybody else who has anything from Windsor Locks? And if not, I'll move to the committee if there's any questions.
Oh, yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
I don't see any. I presume that you're looking for action for us to take, which would be to recommend this to the full commission for action. Is that correct, Satoria?
Yes.
All right, so I will entertain a motion for just that to approve or send approval recommendations to the full transportation committee, which meets after this.
So moved, Steve Soplak, Rocky Hill.
Thank you, Steve. Is there a second?
Second.
Larry
Tom
Burrell,
Mudd-
second.
Thank you, Larry. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Any abstentions? All right, there you have it. We will see that on our next agenda in an hour. And moving on, we will take up item number 5, which is the CROG Transportation Subcommittee Framework. This stuff was posted before the meeting. Roger and Kara.
Thank you, Patrice. So we have a framework for some changes to this transportation subcommittee. And basically, we are suggesting this. So this committee, just a little history. My understanding from working with Rob and Kara, this cost review subcommittee goes back to when our COG was more involved with STP Urban Funding Program from the DOT, which that program basically nationwide looks for MPOs to provide input on the STP urban funds. So there were detailed discussions on the scope and cost of those funding programs. And then over the years, that transitioned to the MPO COG being more involved with our LOTSA program. So similar to our in Connecticut, other states, I think there's about a dozen or so states that did a similar action where that STP urban funding kind of was transitioned to a state-only funding program, which we have with the LOTSA program, which is administered more directly, which is state-only funds administered by the MPO, and that's us at CROG. So with that, we called it the Cost Review Subcommittee, and we have been, that has met recently. We've had like what did we have? 2 in 2024 and 3 meetings in 2025. But we also open it up to topics that require more time to address than just that could be handled at the Transportation Committee meeting. So that's just a little bit of the history. So what we're looking at today is, I'll suggest some changes. We're not looking for formal approval of that by this committee totally today, or by the Transportation Committee today at noon. What we're looking at is today just action to kind of advance this concept after I explain it, and then we would provide an action item at the September Transportation Committee meeting, because we don't have currently an August, we typically don't have an August meeting scheduled. So the reasons for we're considering this change is basically the Transportation Committee and the Policy Board adopted a Vision Zero task force to provide oversight to our safety action plan. That safety action plan was completed in July. And then we did discuss with that task force, which met about 13 times over the course of about 1.5 or 2 years, how we should kind of keep the Vision Zero and safety focus in front of us. So after discussion with them, instead of having a separate committee, our Vision Zero task force, they thought it'd be most effective to kind of incorporate that into this committee framework structure that we currently have. And that would also avoid us from creating another committee. So that's the goal, is then to focus on our Vision Zero goal, which was set to seek to reach 0 fatalities and serious crashes in our region by the year 2040. And so we want to keep that focus going, and our executive director is really well behind this idea. So the suggestions after discussion with the task force and Matt and Rob, who isn't here today, and Kara, our leadership, is that we'd have 4 of our subcommittee meetings with a emphasis or some agenda items related to Vision Zero or transportation safety. So those agenda items could include things like presentations by transportation experts in their field, like enforcement by police departments, safe routes to schools, or bike and pet activities, e-bikes, crash data, legislative proposals, any of those type of agenda items that would focus on safety. Secondly, we would like to, going forward, work on a short safety action plan update each year. So that would most likely be one of the meetings would kind of address that. After that would be prepared. Third main topic would be, we'd like to have one safety workshop event, kind of a major safety regional workshop event, and this group at our subcommittee could kind of help organize or identify topics for that. And then also in general, share safety information and safety data and current trends about safety. So those would be the type of agenda items that we're talking about. then appointing maximum of 8 non-transportation committee members from other organizations. So our idea is that the transportation committee would annually appoint up to 8, a maximum of 8 non-transportation committee members. So our thinking is we'd select those from organizations such as law enforcement, vulnerable user organizations like our primary Watch for Me CT organization, for example. Other educational representatives, again, our primary group is our Yukon T2 Center, which provides a lot of educational opportunities, and also CONDOT, which plays a major role in our transportation system. So those were the type of committee members that organizations, that's not a full list, but we'd be looking for. And then they would have voting rights only on the safety agenda items that would be prepared in advance on the safety agenda. So if there is some kind of a recommendation that the Transportation Committee, Subcommittee would want to make to the Transportation Committee, then those members that would be attending would be allowed to vote only on those items. And eight might sound like a large number, but then again, we'd appoint 8 each year and not necessarily 8 would be attending every meeting. So that's kind of how that voting would work. And one other thing not on this list, but we would kind of, in the memo I had, that we'd suggest just changing the cost review subcommittee to just call it the transportation subcommittee. And then also not on the slide, but things that are staying the same. John Coleman's currently our TC chairman and chairs these meetings or appoints a representative to chair today, Patrice. That would stay the same. Meetings would be open to the public as they are now. That would stay the same. Agendas and minutes currently posted publicly, that would stay the same. No quorum is required, that would stay the same. So a lot stays the same. We just like to have an opportunity to kind of focus on some safety topics. So I think that's it. I'll let Kara chime in if I miss something. And so I think today we're just looking basically for this committee to recommend that we kind of move forward with this. We'd certainly be receiving feedback. You could direct that to Rob or Kara or Matt or John Coleman. And then put together a little more detail, perhaps when we'd exactly start this. I think start initiation date and potential names, right? Maybe right from the start at September, and then have it for a formal adoption in September. So I'll stop there. Kara, anything maybe?
Yeah, no, Roger, that's exactly, I was just going to add exactly what you added there at the end was that this is not an action item for the noon meeting today, specifically because if there was any real concern or we wanted to give the opportunity for this group to give us any feedback before we put together the official kind of recommendation to Transportation Committee in September, with, as Roger said, potential names for these non-TC members, and a potential start date of when this group would start their sort of quarterly meetings. So again, happy to hear any feedback, concerns. People are generally on board.
Are there any comments from the committee? So I have just a couple of clarification questions. I mean, currently this committee, the subcommittee meets at random when necessary. So you're talking about 4 actual scheduled meetings. Would they be quarterly? Would they be chosen, some certain date, I assume?
Yeah, I think the idea is that the 4 the 4 safety ones would be pre-scheduled, but that group would then still meet on an as-needed basis for other purposes, and that on those types of meetings, the non-TC members there wouldn't be safety voting items necessarily at those meetings. And just in terms of a logistics item with the voting piece, For those that go to policy board meetings, now there's always that MPO items subsection of that agenda. And there are certain members of the policy board that are only on the policy board in its function as an MPO. So that's why that agenda is kind of carved out that way. And we would have a similar structure with these meetings where there would be a safety item subsection of the agenda.
Right, so the way the subcommittee works now with current members of the transportation committee who attend, that would work the same, except now you're adding 8 non-transportation committee members from other organizations to that subcommittee, correct?
Correct.
Right, okay. So we're just expanding it a bit, looking for a little bit more insight from other areas.
Right.
Including some training in it, some safety training, and then expanding what the committee would be looking at and may possibly sending up to the transportation committee.
Right. And as Roger said, I think the real impetus for this was that we wanted to be able to keep the work of the Vision Zero task force kind of moving in some way.
Right.
And rather than having a fully separate group for that purpose, it seemed to make sense to kind of fold it into the subcommittee. And this was the fashion that staff thought was the most efficient way to do so, because there's a lot of overlap in interest, and if it's we don't want to keep asking the same people to come to a lot of different meetings. If we're already convening on these days, might as well add the safety focus to that group.
Any other comments or questions from the rest of the subcommittee here? It sounds like no. So I'd be looking for a motion to recommend approval of the idea and to continue focusing it for adoption maybe in September. Is that basically or getting it at least on the committee agenda for September for review and adoption?
Correct.
Okay. Do I have that motion?
So moved, Devin Copperweight.
So,
Thank you, Devin. Second?
I'll second.
Suzanne? Oh, is that Larry?
John.
John.
Yeah.
Thank you, John. Any other questions, comments? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
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 Anybody opposed? Anybody opposed? Any abstentions? All right, there you have it. Move forward. If we do happen to meet in August, would we see this in August, or you want until September to kind of form it?
I think that we would do it in September. The only scenario where we would be having an August meeting is if there is a very time-sensitive item that requires action by either the Transportation Committee or the Policy Board, since TC would still be empowered to be acting as the Policy Board in August. So historically, when we have called an August meeting, it's been a pretty quick get on, make the action, get off,
And
because
be done, yeah.
Quorums can be tricky that time of year. So I think even if there were a special August meeting, this item would still hold until September.
Okay, very good. Is there any other business before this committee? And if not, I will take a motion to adjourn for the day. For this committee, our next meeting of the full transportation committee will be at noon today. People can stay on this link if they wish, or rejoin later. Is that correct?
Correct. Yep. We'll leave it open for folks if you want to just stay on and cut your camera, or if you want to reconnect, we will be using the same link at that time.
Thank you. Motion to adjourn?
motion to adjourn.
Thank you,
Motion to
Suzanne.
adjourn, Suzanne. Yep.
Any second?
I'll second it, John Sabino.
Thank you, John. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, we will see everybody at noon.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you.